You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years. Well, good afternoon, Trevor. How are you?
Hey, doing really well. How about you?
Good, good, good. I'm Alan Gingrich, Director of Hunting Ops. I'm here with Trevor Wade, our Coonhound Programs Manager, but today we're going to change things up again a little bit. Going to talk about beagles.
Yeah, that's right. I got a chance to finally go to the World Hunting Beagle Championship. You know, we've been talking about it for a while, and I was glad to have a chance to go. Had a blast.
Yeah, man, we did the Coonhound World Championship, now the Beagle World Championship, all within a couple of weeks of each other, and both of them are a lot of fun. And it seems probably for me and probably for you too, the Beagle one was probably a little more relaxing for you.
Yeah, I think that's something I have told people afterwards. Comparing the two is just a way. I don't know if because I had less responsibility there, but it just seemed like the people are more relaxed too, a little bit.
Yeah, it's different. It's still a big deal, you know.
Absolutely,
but it is a little different, you know. And really for me too, it's doing it a while, but it's the two they're both good, but they're different. But hey, it really helped. You were a big help putting it on for sure.
It was fun. We had a good team there that weekend, and a lot of good people come through, and the host club did great, and it just all worked out. So I know we're going to get into a lot of that here in this, but
Well, hey, let's start with that. Our team that we took was you and I went, and then we also had Megan Hartness went with us this year. The three of us drove out. You two drove together, and I took the trailer, and I did the solo thing out there. But we had to pick up Taylor Armstrong in, what was it, Pittsburgh, I think, at the airport. She came from Shreveport or somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, she was in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Super Retriever Series Crown they do down there. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, the one thing I got for you here, a special deal for you to get you up in a little plane, go check everything out. What happened there, Trevor?
Well, you know,
Megan went with me.
There just wasn't enough seats, you know.
There wasn't enough seats, yeah.
Yeah,
that was it.
I was looking for a way to get out of it. Heights aren't my specialty. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah, so that was one of the first things we did. That what was it, a Wednesday when we drove out there?
Yeah, it must have been Wednesday evening. Yeah.
So Wednesday we go out there and we meet Randy Workman, one of our field reps there, and he has a buddy that has is a pilot and has a plane, a helicopter, and this small plane, and he wanted to. We kind of had it set up for him to take us on a ride or whatever. But so yeah, you had the opportunity, but you kind of chose to just let Megan and I go instead. So yeah, there were four of us up in that little plane. It was pretty cool, really.
Yeah, I think Randy had put a lot of work. Him and the host club had put a lot of work in kind of getting the area ready for the obviously the World Championship's a huge deal. They were manicuring the trails and all that good stuff, and you got a chance to go up and see them from above. Is that right?
Yeah, I could. You know, and it I've flown a lot, obviously, but with that little plane, we were a lot lower, and you could see a lot of that stuff. But it's pretty neat to see that stuff. We actually saw. We're going to talk about a little bit where we took the final cast, what they call Spectator Hill. Yeah. But that just looked like a little thumbprint from where we were at. You know, if he wouldn't have pointed it out, there's no way I would have known that's what it was.
Yeah. You guys got some good pictures and videos, and you had everybody thinking that UKC had your own personal plane for you now.
Yeah. So, but hey, let's start off this. We've got some interviews with some of the winners, the final cast specifically, and our bench show winner in this episode. But before we get to that, let's talk about a few numbers that we had. Just like your coonhound stuff, we also have qualifiers for the beagles. We had a total of 38 WQEs only. World Qualifying Events is what that stands for. But aside from those 38, we also have the Eliminator East and West that runs in February each year. That is an full elimination event, but that does also qualify dogs for the World Championship. And that's basically one of the very first ones to get qualified at. Now, it's a little different than the rest of the qualifiers, but it does qualify those cast winners. And then the other one is the McVeigh Memorial works as the last chance qualifier that happens the week after Labor Day each year. And for anybody still wanting to get dogs qualified, doesn't have them qualified, that McVeigh Memorial is the opportunity to do so. Both events did qualify quite a few dogs. So this year we had, like I said, 38 WQEs, and that does not count the Eliminator and the McVeigh hunt, but 37 of them were double headers. So they have a hunt in the morning, and as long as the dog's not already qualified, they can enter in the second hunt that day. So we had more this last year than we've ever had as far as double headers go. So all but one.
Yeah, that makes good sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
totally
in
sure.
those double headers, we had over 1,100 dogs entered in those qualifiers, 38 qualifiers. 301 dogs qualified, and that's not counting the eliminator of the McVeigh hunt. Of those dogs, 300 even. I think we advertised 296, but we had a couple late stragglers, and I'll even say we had one. Doggone it, I forget the name of the young guy from Virginia whose uncle or somebody had an entry in that we did not get. It literally came this week.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, It did finally show up like we expected, but anyways, yeah, that's too bad there. But anyways, we ended up with 300, exactly 300 even advanced entries for the World Hunt. That's a record, 252 before.
Kind of blew it out of the water.
Kind of did.
Yeah, that's a great number.
Yeah, so, before this is the first year with that number, we had to have 5 rounds, 4 dogs in a pack. That creates 5 rounds, and this is the first time ever UKC World Championship was more than 4 rounds.
Yeah, made Saturday a little. I know we'll get to Saturday. It made it a little busy or kind of like fast paced, and then wait for a while, and fast paced wait for a while. But I think the club did a great job getting them in the woods, keeping them close as they could, so all the hunters could make sure to get their hunts in.
They did, and they did an excellent job having that set up for that. Matter of fact, just 2 rounds on Friday, but Saturday we were done with 3 rounds by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Everybody was back in the 3rd round already, and it really worked out pretty well. But so obviously 256 dogs, crunch numbers, that comes out to 64 casts, which would create 4 rounds with 64 full casts. But we had more than 256, so. Like you mentioned, we had to have another round, put that in the middle of the day on Saturday. But before we go further with that, we talked about going up there to Waynesburg and did that little flight thing. We set up on Thursday. I guess it was Thursday when we kind of set up then. Wednesday, most of it was Wednesday, but Thursday night, first big thing is check in and dinner, and that's kind of cool how that all comes about, huh?
Yeah, it was fun doing the check-in. The reps handled most of the check-in and measuring dogs and all that good stuff, and we kind of just got to hang out and kind of talk to people and socialize with people for a little while as far as, me and Megan and Taylor goes. And then the dinner was great. So many options. The food was great. It was a fun evening. It's just real laid back and socializing with everybody and catching up with everybody, and it was just a great atmosphere.
Yeah. I didn't count how many entries we got checked in on that first night, but we got the majority of them checked in already. That makes it nice for the next morning. Don't have as many to check in, but
Absolutely.
So yeah. So 100. It was exactly 160 that hunted in round 1A. So we split round 1. We have an A round and a B round. So if I'm handling 2 dogs, I have 2 dogs in it, I can enter one in A in the morning and the other one in the afternoon hunt. So we have an A and a B. 160 dogs even is what we actually hunted in round 1A. So that's all 4 dog casts there. And then in round B, again, all 4 dogs cast away. It turned out 140. So yeah, grand total of 70 casts in A and B. In round A on Friday morning, we did have 3 casts that did not have a plus point cast winner. Now, the rules are such for several events, including the World Championship, that you're not required to have plus points to advance. But there were 3 casts that had a score of 0, didn't have minus, but had a score of 0. But nevertheless, they still advanced. And then in round B in the afternoon on Friday, in round 1, we also had 3 casts with no plus for their winner. But again, advanced those dogs anyway. But that's not bad. 70 casts, total of 6 that came back that didn't have plus points. But
you can't beat that. I
No,
think
you can't.
anytime you're putting that many dogs in the woods, there's a lot of variables.
Sure.
A lot of people talking about how dry it was, and it was a little. I think they had kind of had a little bit of a cold spell, but it was pretty hot when we were there those first couple of days.
It was really hot. Matter of fact, it was almost unseasonably hot, but then it cooled off. It was just the opposite as the weekend progressed. So.
Yeah, I think anytime the temperature fluctuates so much, it kind of causes the game to kind of maybe not stir as much as usual.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. But still, you're going to get into some of the scores here. It looks like it was a great day, really.
Yeah, it was.
In most sense.
In the morning, the high score was 855, and that was, ironically, that was last year's world champion, the Tika dog, Eat 'em Up Tika, had 855 for a high score in the morning. But the average score ended up for that first round was 260, so that's not bad, really, for the first, and we're talking about 40 casts,
Yeah.
So Yeah. And then in the afternoon, the high score was 660 with an average score at 270 plus. Just kind of going through some of the scorecards is kind of what it came up with. But an overall average score of about 265 is what it amounted to for that first Friday. So that's not really that great, but it's not bad either.
Yep.
When you're talking averages.
Yeah, when you're putting that many dogs in the woods, you got to think this is the biggest hunt you've ever had. They probably had to stretch it out a little further than they wanted to, and maybe use some guides they wouldn't have used under normal circumstances.
Well, and that's true, and the other thing with a full elimination, you're just trying to win the cast and move on. It's not, a score means nothing really. Just move on, so you hunt a little differently maybe than you might if you're trying to, get a decent score. You might pick dogs up a little quicker and move elsewhere, and things like that. But no, that's pretty good. So yeah, Friday was a good day there, Friday. And then the middle between the two hunts, A and B, we actually is when we have our bench show. So the eligibility requirements for that is a little different than most of our other segments, whereas a dog has to either be entered in this World Championship or have a minimum of 2 cast wins on its record in order to be eligible for the World Show. So that's different.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so most of the dogs that you saw in the show, we had an entry of 39, which was, since I've been here, that's the biggest entry we've had since I've been involved with it again. I didn't go back to see what our biggest entry is ever. That may be very close if it's not. But the one thing that's different, most of those dogs were dogs that were actually in the World Hunt as well. Kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we had kind of a familiar face and a name, at least to me, and you probably know Amanda Alexander from Homer City, Pennsylvania is kind of a good fit for her to come over and judge the show. And she does a great job. She's been around dogs and hounds all her life, and has shown a lot, judged a lot, and she gave all the dogs a good look. Was very efficient and chose her winners in a decisive manner. You could tell when she was done, she'd made up her mind, didn't waste much time standing there and looking around, and contemplating. She went through the dogs and made her decision. Did a nice job.
Yeah, obviously Amanda Alexander, she did Autumn Oaks for us a couple years ago, which is a ton of dogs, and she had high regards in the coonhound world as well. And you go through the historical list, she's won a bunch. You go through the World Championship list, Autumn Oaks list, all that stuff, and you can tell she knows what she's doing.
So this is the second time now that she's judged our Beagle World Championship. But yeah, I certainly appreciated her coming over, and so thank you, Amanda, for that. Nice job. So like I mentioned, 39 were entered in the show there, and our opposite sex winner was a young lady, Brogan Sampson from West Virginia. Had a dog named Stone Creek Chambers Bruce that's owned with her dad and Brogan. I don't know how old Brogan is. She's very involved in sports and things like that. I think she plays softball or something like fast pitch softball, I think. But just a nice young lady, and I know she had this dog at the Nationals in the spring, and she mentioned after the show, I congratulated her and everything, and told her dog did a nice job, and she did a nice job with it. But she said she's got him working better. So something that happened that he did at the Nationals that she kind of fixed here for this. She said she really worked with him, so she was happy with the way he performed. And wins opposite sex, nice little dog, male dog.
Great accomplishment for somebody already, and to hear somebody, just a teenager that is already, figuring out what their weak points are in their dog and working on that specifically, that just shows you probably got a bright future in this.
Yeah. Oh, heck, and recognizing that, like from the Nationals, that the dog needed some work, and then to have it come together for her like that, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for her. But our big winner, world champion, was a dog named No Cures Angel, owned by Mike Higby from Missouri. Mike's, you saw that dog at the Nationals as well, and it's a dog that he hunts. She's a Hunting Beagle champion, and I think is only a couple cast wins shy of being a Grand Hunting Beagle champion, but just a nice little dog. I could see when that dog first came into the ring the first time in her class there or whatever, the dog just seemed happy and just seemed like, that dog's here to win.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only does it look good confirmation-wise and the way it moves on the ground, but its personality and the confidence it has in the ring. It's just having a good time out there, and you could tell.
Yeah, and the dog was in our Clash of Champions this last spring too. Yeah. So this dog's here again. Another hunting dog represents the hunting beagle very well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So hey, our first interview, I did interview Mike Higby after that. So let's just get right there to it. And here's Mike and I talking about his win. No Cures Angel Maker, world champion.
Yes, sir.
How about that, Mike?
It feels good. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while for a win, and to come in and beat some dogs like I beat yesterday. It
Some
feels
nice
good.
dogs in the show too yesterday.
And some amazing prizes that went with this too. So
Yeah. You know, I saw when she came in the first class, when she first came in the ring, that first 10 feet, I thought, that dog's looking like it's here to show.
she loves it. She loves every bit about it.
Yeah.
It's all about her.
Yeah, well, let's talk about her. Where does she come from?
So she was born and raised on my farm, and she's out of 30 years of beagles. She's got a little bit of Kilgore Rd in her. Goes back on to some Mystery Man, back into the Alibaba stuff, from
I guess I
Branco
didn't realize that. Yeah.
She's not from a show dog line, but her sire is 100% non-rabbit running dog. He will not run a rabbit. He refuses to run a rabbit his whole entire life, and every single puppy out of him like her is a firecracker.
Really?
She's not just a show dog. She is a running dog, and comes from a line of fast, hard hunting rabbit dogs.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna, since you're talking about that, I was gonna ask you about that. It's most of the dogs we see in our hunting beagle shows. They are hunting dogs first.
Yes.
Obviously she's a hunting beagle champion.
Yes, she lacks, I believe, one win of being a grand.
Yeah. She was in the Clash of Champions finals last year.
She was number 3 in our region, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Made the finals too. So yeah, and you've put her in a bunch of shows as you should, a nice looking hound like that.
She's won the McVeigh now. Last month, she's won the world. She's won the Eliminator twice, the Missouri State Hunt, and we're going to try for the all 5 of the big ones, the NHBA next, and I'm back to nationals next year with her.
What do you hunt her regularly too, or
mostly big hunts?
Yeah.
All of her wins, even with the Clash last year, all came from big hunts.
Really?
They came from hunting against the best dogs, not the little bitty hunts, whether it's 3 or 4 dogs or 10 dogs. They came from the big hunts.
Yeah. So if you're going to a lot of the big hunts, you're in Missouri, so that means you're doing a bunch of traveling. Does she travel well and hunt good in different?
Actually, she has been a car sick dog from the time she was a puppy.
Really?
You pick her up to put her in the dog box, and she just start drooling. And these last 4 long trips here to Pennsylvania and Ohio, they've kind of getting her used to it now. Yeah. She's finally coming out of it, but she's 2.5 years old now. And to wait 2 years to even start getting over being car sick. So she didn't travel well.
Yeah, she was here in the show last year too, and looked good last year too. But
she's toned now though.
Yeah, and she showed well yesterday, and I could tell the judge was really liking her already from the get go. I could just kind of tell that. I think from the ground, walking right into the show ring already yesterday. But what is it? And you've shown a lot of dogs throughout your time, but what does it feel like when you've won your first class, now you're in the final class, and what does it feel like as a handler when you're up there? There's only 2 dogs left anymore. One's going to be the world show champion. The other one's going to be the opposite sex. What is that feeling as a handler? Do you think about that?
It was so nerve wracking. It felt like my heart was in my throat. I mean, I could literally feel my heart in my throat. It's just to get to that. I mean, and I've been close, and then you're just, the judge likes the other dog. Something just wasn't, and leaned more that way. And yesterday I was very, just sickening feeling, but just so excited. Yeah. And then when she picked my dog, that's when the emotions flow there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what was up? The other thing I wanted to ask you about is Angel started barking, boo-hooing a little bit there during that last class. Is that something she does?
She saw a German Shepherd there, and I guess she's had some coyote encounters.
Oh,
and every time she sees that German Shepherd out there, she barks like that.
So that's what she was barking
at? Yes, she was barking at that German Shepherd, and I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But I was I knew the judge had already made up her mind, so I wasn't as worried about it. But But she put on a show, and then she jumped down all the benches, going from one bench to the next.
I saw that. When
everybody kind of got a kick out of that too. She likes to put on a show.
She's kind of an attention getter.
And she is, and everybody looks at her when she goes by, and it just makes you feel good.
Yeah,
makes you feel good.
Yeah, well, hey, not taking anything away of her looks, I guess, but when she's out hunting and stuff, what is it about her that you like in the field?
She is a track dog. She puts that track right between her feet, and she runs a rabbit like it's supposed to be ran. Yeah. And I've been doing beagles for 30 years now, and that's came back more important to me, that a track dog like that, than the speed and drive, just running hard. And she's got the speed, she's got the drive, but she's got the line control, and it just, everything she does right in my book.
Are you, what are you planning? You got any big plans for her? You're probably going to breed her at some point?
Once I win the big 5 shows and she's finished out, I plan on breeding her. Yeah. And I'm not gonna breed her to a show dog. I'm gonna breed her to a all around dog. Yeah. I want something that's gonna hunt and show and just get more of them out there. I want the standard brought up a little bit.
Well, you did mention the prize package was pretty good yesterday. Had a brand new dog box. What was $125 gift certificate? Get a jacket with that. Pretty nice trophy.
Kukanuba dog food.
And big trophy from NHBA. You got the world trophy. That thing's pretty heavy.
It is.
Be good to see that. Have that one sitting in your house from.
The guys
got a good place for it.
They have it in the back seat right now with licorice sticking out of the cup. So, but I've got my my Beagle barn, I call it. It's my kennel house. It's all set up with all my stuff. I got a poster from the Clash in there, and my trophies are all in there. And I tease my wife. She's 5 foot as well, and I got 3 5-foot trophies now, and she's my 4th. So I've got 4 5-foot trophies at home.
There you go.
And she won't take a picture with them though.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I don't want to hold you up any longer, but always good to see you here and bringing a nice dog like that to our events. And congratulations.
I appreciate it very
much, World
Alan.
champion.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So there you have it. As you can tell, Mike was just super tickled about that. He's always had some nice dogs in the show and hunting dogs as well, but he was just tickled and I was tickled for him. We all were.
Yeah. Well deserved. Congratulations, Mike.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to Saturday morning. Now we've got the first day out of the way, and we've got 3 rounds coming up on Saturday. So now we had 70 casts, and we're moving on 70 dogs in the next go round. Put them all in 18 casts. So in that round, Saturday morning, our high score was 405. So nothing to not a bad score, but nothing crazy high or anything like that. But had 2 scores of 0. Otherwise, the average score was 230 for Saturday morning. 18 dogs advanced on Saturday morning.
Wet, cold morning. It was rainy, but you came up with the idea to give them all Ziploc bags with their cards. I think that helped them out.
Yeah. So we kind of had looked at the weather and what it was supposed to do. We were kind of prepared for those gallon. I think we had those gallon Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
It kind of worked out all right.
I think it worked out good.
I think a lot of them used them actually.
Yep.
Yeah, so round 3, middle of the day. Now we've got 18 dogs moving on. We put those in 6 casts, and that's kind of to make sure we have more than just 2 dogs in the finals. And really, putting dogs heads up just is not ideal. But we could not, with the way the numbers were, we couldn't get away from it. To begin with, we had quite a few dogs that were no shows in the first round. So if we had really expected to have, not to have heads up casts any times, but we did have quite a few no-shows as it turned out. So no, couldn't get away from it. So middle of the day, 18 dogs, put them in 6 3-dog casts, trying to give us 6 dogs to advance. So all 3-dog casts there. So there we started using non-hunting judges then, and I want to shout out to some of those judges that helped us there. Jason Vandergrift, Alan Newby, Kevin Weaver, Brian Mudgett, Braden Neely, and Donnie Ant. Judged those 6 casts there for us. Non-hunting judges at that point then. The score in that round was 405 for a high score. You know what? I had it in my notes here, the same line there, so I can't speak on that. I think I copied that, and that's probably not accurate, so I better not say that. But anyways, 6 dogs advanced there to the late afternoon round on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll just want to step in and say kudos to your Hunting Beagle guys and gals. After they lose, they don't tuck tail and head home. They stick around. They're always seeing who's advancing, congratulating. Whenever you're calling casts, they're all in there and give them a round of applause. And you use 6 judges here midday Saturday, you probably could have got 10 or 12. Really, yep. There was enough people there willing to volunteer their time, and that says a lot about the program and the people inside of it, in my opinion.
It does. I'm glad you actually brought that up. We kind of take that for granted a little bit, but the Hunting Beagle guys, they're very good about that, sticking around like that and helping. Sometimes a lot of these same guys have already been. They were those guys, that were in the hunt, and other people stepped up and stayed and helped judge, and they're very good about that. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So moving on to the late hunt Saturday in the 4th round, actually. So 6 dogs now going heads up, meaning 2 dogs in a cast. There again, non-hunting judges, and this time we used 2 on each cast. Not like you need them really. We had them there, and we just put 2 judges on them in case they get splits and yada yada. But Eric Ant, Jake Cumberledge, they paired up on 1 cast. Randy Workman and Garrett Cunningham. Garrett's just one of the younger guys from Missouri who came out there, and he's a good example. I think we talked about it at the Coonhound World. I love when we have young guys coming up that are good at judging, and have been doing it for a good while. And there's a good example of a young guy like is good with the rules and everything. Good, glad to use him in a position like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Jeff Davis and Carl Miller, they paired up on those 3 casts. So there, the high score was 320 plus for a high score in that heads up 3 cast deal in the evening. Average score of 160, but that was, that was the lowest average of the weekend there. So Saturday evening, I don't know.
Yeah, 2 dogs, is that maybe that's?
I don't know. That here again, the club did a great job. They had them all within 10 minutes of the club. Those 3 casts. And really, when they came back, Kristen Bundy was the first one back as a cast winner with Cooper, and she was back at 5:33 already. You were the hunt director, so I want to get into that a little bit. But that's what you noted on her. It was the first one back 5:37. The second one was back in 5:53 for the third one. So all within a half hour there. They all hunted within 10 minutes of the club.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When we rolled in there, early Saturday morning, it's way before daylight, and I was thinking it's going to be a long day today. But actually, like you said earlier, it's shorter than Friday here. So
yeah, that's why I put those times on there. We were there till, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock on Friday night.
Yeah,
waiting on everybody. But here, this was an early night. 3 rounds is still an early night. So yeah.
Allen, we both had Dogtra Pathfinder 2s now for a little while. What do you think about yours?
I'm liking mine. One of the things, I had the opportunity to now download a map of an area where I did not have service, and I've used it there, and it has worked flawlessly. I love it.
Yeah, I love the crystal clear maps. I love that I never lose reception on my dog's collars anymore. Highly recommended by me as well.
Dogtra Pathfinder 2, the official GPS collar of UKC. So yeah, Kristen Bundy was the first one in with a dog. She calls her dog Bad Company. And last episode we did a thing on the Hall of Fame dogs, and her dog Flame was the very first Hall of Fame dog in UKC. This is actually Bad Company. She calls him Cooper. It's actually a pup off of Flame. So how cool is that for somebody? If you listen to Kristen's story, and if you didn't, go back and listen to that.
Yeah,
episode.
That was some good interviews.
Yeah. So she was the first one back, and then after that was Dusty Irwin was hunting a dog for Brian Hartram out of Ohio, little female named Gigi. So Dusty, he's the second guy back in. He's got his cast one. And then soon after that, Chad Smith from West Virginia, he comes back with Go Bo Go as a cast winner. So those 3 dogs won their cast. And so right after that, obviously, now these 3 dogs generally in all past world championships, that would have been it. Those dogs would have been the winner. That's the 4th round winner. But these 3 go back out. And but anyway, so we sat down and did an interview with them. So we're gonna get right to that. I guess we'll have the first one I sat down with was Kristen Bundy talking about Cooper. Kristen, what have you done?
Made it to the finals of the World Hunt.
Have you you just got back from your semifinal cast.
Yes, sir.
What was that ride like coming back?
I'm mixed emotions right now. I don't know if I want to laugh, cry, throw up. I'm in a lot of different places.
So let's talk about what got you here, Cooper.
Yes, sir.
Calling him Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Deep River Bad Company. Where does Cooper come from?
Well, when he was a baby, he was always Baby Cooper. We called him Cooper. He just started calling him Cooper when he was a baby, and then I was riding around. We like to talk about songs a lot. Me and Josie riding a truck together a lot, going to hunt. So we talk about music a lot, and we name dogs after songs sometimes. So I named him after the song "Bad Company" by Five Finger Death Punch, and I was like, Cooper, Bad Company, close enough. So that's just how he got his name. I thought it was cool. So.
Yeah, still not yet 3 years old. So let's back up. How did you get Cooper? Where's he come from?
Cooper's out of my Flame Dog, which is Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Hall of Fame, Deep River Firewater Blue Flame, and Grand Hunting Beagle Champion, Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Diesel. And we bred him at the house. I raised him from a puppy.
Yeah,
he was my pick. Him and his sister, they were my two picks.
Yeah, so we're gonna hear a little bit about Flame on another podcast soon. She's a Hall of Fame dog.
Yes, sir.
And was probably one of your all-time favorites that you talked about.
Absolutely.
And now you've got Cooper, and you're in the finals of the world. That's just gotta be.
It's pretty
crazy.
Awesome. It's pretty awesome. I mean, you talk about always wanting them to be better than their parents, and she never made it this far in the world. So I mean, I'm just tickled to death.
Yeah. So let's start here at the World Hunt. So this year, 5 rounds. Every world champion up to this point would have won this hunt by this round.
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be one extra round. The dog's got to go one extra round. First of all, how's he holding up?
He's still doing good. He's tired. You can tell it's wearing on him. His eyes bothering him a little bit, and he's got a cut on his pad. But he's just so tough. I mean, I don't think I could have asked for him to be any tougher. Yeah. He's not been on the clock at all the whole way through. He stayed busy, and he jumped the only rabbit we ran in the last cast. So can't ask for more than that.
Yeah. So let's back up here, starting at the World Hunt. Anything stand out to any of the casts? How were your first round casts?
Well, the first round I was going through a lot. We had some landowner issue, and we thought that he might have gotten into something that he wasn't supposed to get into. And then I was to the point where I was about to take him to the vet, not sure if he was sick, but he ended up being okay. It wasn't true or whatever didn't happen, but he jumped every rabbit on the cast. Every rabbit we ran, he jumped it, and then he was consistent on the lines, and that's what it took to win. I've had great cast all weekend. I've had wonderful people to hunt with, but he's just been striking machine this weekend. If you have that, that's hard to beat. Yeah, if you have a dog that gets out there and hunting and grubs up those rabbits, man, that's usually a tough dog. Absolutely, it's been a tough weekend. I think as far as like jumping rabbits, they've really had to get in there and dig for them, and that's really where I think he shines is when he's got to go find them. I was going to ask you,
So what do you like most about him? How does he win?
He's grubby. I mean, he's like a lot like his mom. They would go and Diesel too. They're always hunting, always looking consistently and constantly looking for a rabbit. And he's so grubby, and he's almost like he knows where to find them. He's going to go to where he thinks they are, and that's what I like about him is that he does do that. Yeah. And he's pretty consistent on lines. He's a pretty good track dog. He likes to get up there and push with them, but he's not going to do nothing crazy. And that's been what's won it for him all weekend.
Yeah. So let's tell our listeners a little bit. Who is Kristen Bundy? What do you do when you're not hunting? What do you do?
Well, that's not a lot, but I do. I'm a school teacher. I teach agriculture and FFA at North Davidson High School in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I like to run dogs and hunt about anything. I run dogs with my grandpa, with Jeff and Davis and all this. I mean, that's pretty much all we do is run dogs all the time. But
have you done that? Have you always done that as a kid?
Until I started when I was like 15. I started hunting at the club with them, and it just, I just fell in love with it. I love everything about it. The dog work is what's the most important thing to me. Get to go see a good dog work. That's what I love.
What part of hunting do you like the best? Is it the competition part? Is it just the running? Is it rabbit hunting? Is it what part of it do you like the best?
I like to rabbit hunt the best. If you can ask me any day of the week, it's always going to be I love to rabbit hunt, and I like the camaraderie that goes with it because we're all out there having fun. Mm-hmm. But I love competition. I'm extremely competitive, but I try to keep my head on my shoulders about it. But I like going and seeing good dogs work. And when you get to this level, you know, you're consistently drawing good dogs. And this has just been so much fun to see good dog work all weekend. I mean, I've not had a bad cast where I thought any of the dogs were out of it at any point, you know. I love watching good dogs run. That's the best part for me.
Yeah. So I can't. And also not to stigmatize here or anything, but you're also a woman. We have several women that are competing, you know, but how does you've kind of held that banner for a good while. There's a lot of ladies that look up to you.
I don't know.
And especially young girls.
Yeah, I love the sport, and I got into it. Obviously, it was predominantly male sport, and it seems like it's grown since I've been in it. A whole lot more women do it, or in that are here. And I know I have Victoria who hunts with me, and Josie, and you know we're pretty hardcore. You know, we're pretty competitive with each other, and we have a good time. We gun hunt hard. So I mean, I would say any woman that wants to get into this should absolutely get into this because it's just so much fun. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your evening. Tomorrow morning we're going to go out there and we're going to see what happens.
Yes, sir.
You know, first, second, or third is what's left here. But congratulations again, and good luck. And man, a young dog like this, man, it's just. The world's ahead of him still.
Yes, sir. I'm kind of like bummed at the same time that he's gotten this far because I'm like, what if he wins this? Like, he's only 2. And his career will be really short. But I mean, he's just had a heck of a year. If you count the cast wins that he's had this weekend, I believe he's at like 21 cast wins this year. If you count everyone he's had this year or this weekend. So I mean, dang, this is his first year trialing. He started trialing back in March. He had to have his tail docked when we gun hunted because we gun hunted real hard. And about 6-7 inches of his tail got so raw it got infected. So I took his tail off. And then I broke him out in March at a state hunt just out of curiosity to see how he done. And the dude was like, let me show you what I'm capable of, Mom. Like, I can win. And I've not looked back. I mean, he's been the only dog I've hunted all year pretty much.
What do you think what would it mean to you to win this hunt?
The world. That's, I mean, this has been my goal. I started out, and I tell anybody that asks me this, when I first started when I was 15, my goal was to always have one of those brown coats that everybody wore around with their dog's name on the back of it. I always just wanted one of those coats. Well, now I've got the coats, and I'm like, okay, next step is to grand a dog. So I granded 2 dogs, and he's the 4th dog I've ever made grand in my kennel. And now the goal is to win a Big 5. That's where I'm at. I want to win a Big 5 hunt. So
how do you think you're going to sleep tonight?
No, I don't think I am. I don't think I am. I don't even think it's set in yet. Yeah. Like, I think I'm still like in shock. I've got a lot of adrenaline going on right now.
Well, hey, you're in the moment and enjoy it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. So good job with Kristen. Obviously, she was super excited, stoked, and just she is a lady out, has been doing it for a long time and hunts hard, knows what she's doing. She is as good as any of the guys out there. Just say that. And just a great representative of the sport as well.
Sure.
And for any of the younger girls coming up or whatever, great role model to look up to. She's competitive, but as long as she's been doing it, find me one time where anybody has anything bad to say about Kristen Bundy, or how you might not always agree with the way something is scored, but find me somebody that she somehow didn't treat right or didn't judge what she thought was right. You know, and just a good role model for sure. And we're lucky to have folks like Kristen in the sport for sure. So yeah, so she's moving on. My next one I sat down with was Dusty Irwin. He's handling this dog for Brian Hartram, and a big guy, you know, a big guy with what I'd say probably, when it all comes down to it, loves the sport, and like most people, he also got a big heart, or maybe sometimes kind of a soft heart. But here you could tell this really meant a whole lot to Dusty. Here he is talking about Gigi. Well, Dusty, here we are, Saturday night. You're still undefeated with Little Italy's Gigi. What are your thoughts?
Hopefully she can take it all the way. Hopefully she keeps hunting and does what she needs to do.
Yeah. So you were out in the semifinals, all heads up, 6 dogs in the semifinals running heads up. What was the hunt like? How'd that hunt go?
Hunting against Keaton was nice. I mean, he was a very
Keaton
good
Hamburger.
Yep. Very good sportsman. We no arguments. It was nice. I mean, she just did her job and kept her mouth shut and did what she had to do.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this little 2-year-old female. Brian Hartram owns her, buddy of yours, back in Nashport, Ohio. How's come are you handling the dog? Have you handled her before, or just this hunt, or what?
I handled her in the McVeigh hunt.
Okay.
And we did all right there. He gave me enough trust to bring her down here. I think he cried a little bit when I left with her, but he had enough trust in me, and hopefully I'm doing a good enough job for her.
Well, I'd say so far you're heading to the bank right now.
Yeah, hopefully she takes it all the way.
Yeah. So what is she out of? Do you know?
To be honest with you, I know the top dog is I think the Reeve dog that goes back to John Ing's stuff.
Okay.
And then the female is Jerry Scotland's. But
What is it? What is it that you like about the dog? What makes her win?
She stays busy and she usually don't bark off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She'll go jump you a rabbit.
Yeah. So let's talk about your hunts a little bit this week. So Friday, did you hunt in the morning or in the afternoon?
I hunted in the second round, the B round.
In the B round, yeah. And so how have your hunts been so far?
It's been spotty. The tracking's been rough.
Yeah.
What helped me was she'd get in there deep enough to get a rabbit up, and here we are.
Yeah. So 4 rounds of it, man. This is a tough world championship. You know, in this spot, usually after 4 rounds, we have a world champion. Not this year. Had too many dogs, you know, or more. We had enough dogs to make 5 rounds, so it's another. How's she holding up?
Well, we ain't had much run in every cast. I mean, it's been kind of sluggish. I mean, but right now she's doing good.
Yeah, not bothering her.
No, not bothering her. Still pulling at the lead strap, ready to go.
Yeah. So you were in the semifinals. You win this cast. You scored 250 here in the. Looks like you scored on a couple lines there. You win the cast, and you've got it nailed down. You're riding back to the clubhouse. What does a handler think about coming back? What's running through your head?
Excitement.
Yeah.
A lot of happiness. I mean, a little sadness too. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that Brian Hartram gave me enough trust to bring her down here. And get me in this situation.
Yeah. Well, Dusty, I know you and your dad's out here too. Vernon Shearer's out here. You've probably got a good support cast out here and a cheering section for you. But and I know you're a dog man, and this isn't the first time you've been in the finals of a big hunt, you know. But hey, congratulations, man, and good luck to you in the finals.
Hey, I appreciate it, Alan. Keep doing what you're doing, keeping everything going good.
Yeah, there you go. So the last person to come in I mentioned was Chad Smith, and as soon as you got his scorecard taken care of, Trevor, I took him around the back to the podcast table, and he and I sat down. We talked about go, Bo, go. So here's Chad and I. Well, Chad, here we are. What was your trip like from the semifinals back here to the headquarters, knowing you're going to be in the finals tomorrow morning?
No, just overwhelmed, you know. It's something you ever always dream of.
Yeah. Well, you've never be a first time in the finals for you, right?
At the World, yes.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the case for the other two that you're going to be competing against: Kristen Bundy with the Bad Company and Dusty Irwin with the GG female. But I asked them the same question, and but yeah. So tell us a little bit. Let's start with Go Bo Go, 4-year-old. Tell us about him. What's he out of?
He's out of White River Bell and an old Maggie dog we had. Her name was Maggie May. CNR's Maggie May.
Yeah.
And we had the litter, and he was one of the last pups we had left. And Dad and I sold him to a local guy that has some gun dogs. And, you know, and this guy's a big-time bear hunter. Well, he had him, started him, running rabbits, and bear season rolled around. And this dog kind of got put on the back burner, and my dad ran into this guy, and he said, "Hey, I'm not really running him. Do you and Chad want him back?" So we took him back. He was roughly a year to year and a half old, got him back, and I've had him since then. So, so we raised him, sold him, got him back, and had him, you know what I mean, ever since.
Well, here in the last good number of years, you guys have had a bunch of good dogs and always seem to have competitive dogs and always in the hunt with your dogs that you bring. But Pedro, he's another one, went deep here in the World Hunt in the top 10 here. So you've had a really good week here at the World Hunt. But what is it that you like about Bo here?
Bo,
is that what you call him, Bo?
Yes, yes, I call him Bo. And on a side note, him and Pedro are litter mates.
Oh, they are litter mates.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Bo's he's a good, steady dog. He doesn't really stand out in one aspect. decent hunter. I'm not going to, I'm always say he's great on everything. Decent hunter, decent foot, decent track work. You know, just it's consistent.
Yeah. So let's talk about your hunt so far. Did you hunt Friday morning or afternoon with him?
I hunted Friday morning with him.
Friday morning. Yeah. So how have your hunts went so far up here?
Good. I mean, he's really impressed me. He's been, first, second strike in all the rounds. And to be honest, I think every first line I've scored this whole weekend.
Really?
Hasn't got a second line.
Yeah. Yeah. So
he's done what he's supposed to get here.
Yeah. Do you know, have you hunted with the other two dogs and that you're going to be up against tomorrow morning?
I've not hunted with Dustin's dog. Last weekend, Kristen drove up to our sectional, and me and her drew each other Sunday afternoon. And so I've hunted with her dog, yes.
Yeah. So you know a little bit about him.
Yeah, he impressed me last Sunday afternoon. I'll give her and him credit. It was hot for the first day of October. We went to a spot, 3 minutes weren't even up, and it was 80, 85 degrees. First 3 minutes weren't even up. Her dog jumped the rabbit, popped out right in front of us, and we ran it. So I do know that her dog has the hunt.
Yeah.
I'll give, yes.
Well, I think we've got 3 excellent dogs, and I think it's going to be, we should have a good hunt here in the finals. I'm excited for it to see it unfold and watch it unfold and everything. But the weather has turned. We went from hot here to really being pretty cool, nice hunting weather right now, and it should make for a good final cast for sure. But so he's 4 years old. The other 2 dogs are younger. This year we have 5 rounds in the World Hunt, and I would have not thought that maybe a 4-year-old, but got a couple 2-year-olds. And I've seen all 3 of them out here. You guys just took a cast photo. I'm asking you how is he holding up, but all 3 of them look like this is nothing.
Yeah, he's surprised me because, to be honest, this year I really have not had the time. I have a son now, and I've been spending a lot of time with him, and it's kind of put the dogs on the back burner a little bit. So coming into this weekend, he probably isn't up to where he normally is on conditioning, but this last round, him and Gus ran hard, and he never, backed down.
Yeah. So what do you think your chances are up against the younger dogs, half his age, actually 2-year-olds?
I'm not really sure, Alan.
Yeah, that's probably kind of a dumb question. I guess a 4-year-old, you're probably the one to beat here, I would say, as far as age goes.
Oh, don't jinx me now.
Yeah. So, well, hey, Chad, you've had a great week here, and good luck in the final with him tomorrow, and congratulations again on a good showing here. And it ain't over yet.
No, it's not, and I appreciate it. Looking forward to it in the morning, see how it turns out. Good luck to the other 2.
So there you go. There's all 3 of them. You've heard from all 3 of them. Moving on to this was Saturday night now, and you can't really imagine unless you've been there what it's going to bed that night, and tomorrow morning you're gonna one more cast, and it's you and I probably can't imagine. I've never been in a situation like that.
Yeah, I get nervous, and I'm just going to spectate it or what have you. So I can't imagine the butterflies that they're feeling. What an accomplishment just to make it there, and then to know you have a shot at being a world champion. That's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd sleep or if you wouldn't.
No way. There's no way.
I think too, but yeah. So, but anyways, hey, before we go into Sunday morning's final cast here, I want to talk about our youth kids that we had there at the hunt. We had 15 kids show up handling dogs in the World Hunt. 15.
Yeah.
You saw we called them up there on Friday morning there and got a photo of them, and you can see that photo I think on our Beagles of Field Facebook page maybe, and you'll see it in some of the publications as well. But 15 kids.
Yeah. And awesome. just what a great 15 kids they are. You can tell they've been raised around the sport. They're real respectful and they're responsible. They come up, they got to take care of their is it
paperwork? First strike series.
And they got to come up and make sure that their points are tallied. They're all their names, and they're getting all their reward, all their points for entering and placing in events. And yeah, they all did a great job. They weren't up there. Their parents weren't holding their hands, making them come up there. They were up there, and they were responsible and they were respectful to us. And just a great group of kids to be around.
Yep, for sure. And not just that. After the first round, 5 of those 15 won their cast.
That's not bad.
They're hunting dogs that they spend time with in the field.
Absolutely.
You know, they're not just getting somebody's ringer here. There are a lot of these dogs they're hunting are dogs that they've been hunting. Most of them have been hunting for a while, spending a lot of time with them, and just like anybody else, you know, and having success even in the world hunt, and competing against handlers a lot more experienced than they are, but and some of these kids have been hunting a good little while too. Yeah. So I want to the 5 that won their cast in round 1. Emmett Whipke from Pennsylvania, he won. Eli Watson from Indiana, his buddy Achilles Morrison also from Indiana. They both won their cast. Harley Swagger, the 4th, is a young boy from West Virginia. Harley Swagger's boy. Just a respectful young kid. He won his cast too. Good for him.
Yes,
I think it was Sting maybe that he hunted, Super Sting, or I think I'm not sure that's the dog that he does hunt. And then Brock Butler, one of the winningest young youth handlers we've ever had from Michigan. All 5 of those guys won their cast.
Yeah,
congratulations.
You'd never know that Brock was a youth if you just sat and talked to him. Got a bright future.
Yep, sure does, for sure. So, and the end of it, it was Eli Watson that made it the first. He made it through. He won his cast. He won 2 rounds with a dog named Grand Hunting Beagle Champion 2, JJ Opie Blue Past You, dog owned by Joe Merritt of Indiana there. But he hunts Opie quite a bit and has won with him quite a bit. But he ended up drawing Kristen Bundy and Cooper there in round 3, and that he lost to Cooper by 20 points actually. So, so Eli Watson is a youth handler of the World Championships. So congratulations to Eli.
Great run.
Yep, absolutely. So now that brings us to Sunday morning. Here again, I'm sure you were out there, good crowd out there on Sunday morning that stayed, again, like you mentioned, judges staying, helping out. Here's a bunch of folks still there for Sunday morning, going out with the final cast.
Hey, that was kind of cool for me. I'm not used to that in the coonhound world. You'll get some spectators at the trucks and what have you, but being able to all go there and it's just kind of more of an intimate feel for someone. You can get out there, you can hear the dogs. They're kind of working around you, and just being able to watch them up there was pretty cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and the weather was perfect that morning. It was kind of cool, overcast and everything. Just perfect weather, perfect morning, just everything perfect for a World Championship final cast like that. Randy Workman, again, guided the cast. We were there last year in 2022. He guided it there. We went back to the same spot. Nobody had hunted this place all weekend long, and it's a spot where they call Spectator Hill. Spectator Hill is where, as you saw it, you were there, it's kind of you can probably describe it better than I can, but it's a place where they allow the spectators to all go out there, and it's at a high point. You can hear and see a long ways from there.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful backdrop, watching the sun come up over the hills surrounding you, and we were watching deer feed on separate hillsides from up there. And it's kind of a nervous, excited energy up there. A lot of people up there, they have rooting interest. Obviously, their buddies are out there and people they've known for a long time. And you were kind of giving me some updates, and at first I was kind of giving them to everybody and letting them know, but everybody kind of started crowding out and getting nervous as time went on, and it was just a fun morning.
Yeah. I've been that person up there on that doing the play-by-play, and we did one. I was in the field this time with the cast and relaying things back to you, and you did a great job posting all that play-by-play. But that was fun. It's always fun. You and I've done a bunch of play-by-plays now throughout the last 4 or 5 years, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of different being on the other side of the play-by-play.
Yeah. So, but hey, we had Derek Bowen from West Virginia as the lead judge on this final cast, and Derek has been hunting and been judging casts for a long time. And here's another guy that you just kind of like Kristen, find me somebody that has anything ever to criticize Derek on, as far as his character, his just a good guy and a good judge too. Does things right. And then Braden Neely, who was our guide coordinator throughout the whole weekend. Same thing there, just a good young man, helping, stepping up and doing a whole lot and helping. He did a whole lot for this World Hunt. I'm going to get to it here in just a little bit, but we had those 2 guys judging this final cast. But so as it turned out, I was out there on the first drop. The dogs, it took, I don't know, a couple of minutes, I think, before they got on the first track, and it was a bad one. And all 3 of the dogs opened up a little bit, and Bo, it was kind of one of those deals where, okay, the handlers have 3 minutes in Beagles. They have 3 minutes where you have a grace period. You don't have to strike your dog on the first turn loose. And all 3 dogs had already been opening up. But so it was they're kind of all, handlers are kind of in a position now, hey, do I strike my dog or do I not? But when Chad Smith finally struck Bo first, that was kind of for the other 2, okay, now we're going to hold off. And you know what? It kind of went to pot there and ended up no good and ended up in a dead track. And Bo unfortunately took a 100 minus by himself right out of the gate. So he kind of had that was kind of a setback for him starting out like that. But anyways, as it all turned out, he ended up actually did that one other time. It was just a tough morning.
Yeah,
it was.
It was from our vantage point up there, and I don't know how it was down where you guys were in the thick of things, but it's really windy.
Yeah.
And I think again, just the weather turned a little bit, and I don't know, just
hey, it was not for lack of hunt from those dogs. I'm telling you, those 3 dogs hunted as hard. Each one of them hunted as hard as any pack of dogs I've seen in the World Championship finals. Yeah. It was just not running. Just wasn't that great. And we did see at least one baby rabbit that they scored on one rabbit. It was just a baby.
It was right there by us there at the trucks.
Yeah. So that's kind of. So, hey, it was Gigi ended up the winner, and even down to into the last 5-10 minutes, it's not like Cooper was out of it, but at the end of the day, Gigi was our winner, and she earned it. She went out there and earned it and took it and was the best that day. I don't think anybody can deny that. There was no what ifs or shoulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It was that was it. But just all in all, just a great hunt.
Yeah, and getting the stuff back, and it seemed like Gigi kind of even from the very beginning had a really hot start and was able to hang on to it, and just it was her day. It was her day for sure.
And we mentioned Brian Hartram is the owner of Gigi. He wasn't there at the hunt. They had Dusty handling her, but Dusty went Saturday night. He drove back home and went and got Brian and brought him out there. So Brian was up there on the hill, and you probably got to see him. I don't know what.
He was in and out and everywhere. He wasn't standing still. I promise you. I think he was a little nervous, and he was moving around more than the dogs were, I think.
Yeah. So, but anyway, now we've got Gigi as our world champion, and we head back to the headquarters and everything. So one of the first things we did, I sat down with Dusty, and this time we brought Brian Hartram in again too, and just. I think, hey, for both of them, I think it just hadn't really sunk in. They were just kind of a loss for words, really. But nevertheless, here is Dusty and Brian and I after the win. Well, Dusty, you've done it. What are you thinking now?
I'm speechless.
Speechless. Yesterday we talked. We didn't talk too long yesterday. And after you came back from that semifinals, and you talked pretty highly about the dog. And man, she went out there and she was. We didn't have the greatest running today, but she was the best dog out there. Yeah, no question.
She did her job, went hunting and found a rabbit. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, it was kind of tough, but all the dogs hunted great. That's good to see. And then, that's probably what got it for her, getting out there and did a great job.
Knowing where to look for, I think.
Yeah. So also this morning, the owner, Brian Hartram, finally showed up. Man, congratulations, Brian.
Thanks.
Where does Gigi come from?
Well, I think back in April, shortly after the Nationals, at a hunt there at the house, I had hunted against Jerry Scott, and Gigi, she was putting a whooping on us, and I ended up coming back and beating her, but it was because my dog had jumped a rabbit and had scored a line by itself, and Gigi was like 375 yards away in there and jumped her own, and we never had gotten no lines. The time had run out on her, and something just stuck in my head the rest of that night about that dog. And the next morning, I'd called Jerry and asked him if Gigi would be able to be bought, and he says, Brian, I don't know. He said, she's just a UKC registered dog, and she's not AKC. And I said, well, Jerry, that doesn't mean nothing to me. I said, would you sell her? And he said, well, yeah, but I don't want a sour price. He told me, and he told me a price, and I just said, sold. And I said, and he mumbled around. He said, well, okay then. So that's how I acquired her.
Yeah. So have you been hunting a lot?
Yeah,
hunting a lot all the way up to
yeah.
here?
She probably hasn't missed 10 days since I've had her.
So how did you get hooked up with Dusty hunting her?
Well,
in the world hunt.
I let Dusty hunt her at the McVeigh hunt because I was busy hunting other people's dogs, and Dusty got mad at her because she wouldn't hunt for him. And I said, Dusty, I said, she's a personable dog. I said, you got to love on her, and I said, and pet her, and I said, and make friends with her, and I said, she'll do good for you. And so Tom Ingram was actually going to bring her and hunt her. And because I'd made up my mind I wasn't coming, and just I can't go by myself anymore due to some health issues, sleeping issues and stuff. And so anyhow, Tom got sick, and his mom had got sick and had to have some procedures done in the hospital. And Dusty, he said, "You gonna let me take Gigi?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." I said, it don't matter. I said, she can just stay at home. And he said, "Oh, let me take her. I'm going anyways." And he said, "Then I'll have 2 dogs." I said, "Just come get her and take her. I don't care."
Yeah.
And I've known Dusty since he's been a little boy, so he's more like a little brother to me than just a friend.
Well, I'd say he did as good as he possibly could have. Couldn't have done any better.
No, I don't believe I could have did it any better than he did.
Well, 5 rounds, man. It's been that's. We've never had a world champion have to go 5 rounds. You know, it's always been 4 rounds, but the number of dogs we had 5 rounds, but she still looks like she's good to go again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So has it sunk in on the ride back from the field here today, back here to the headquarters? Sunk in a little bit, started to?
Yeah, a lot more than what it was before we started. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I don't want to take up any more of your time, but congratulations again. Nice dog. Earned it. Came here and flat earned it. And we're up against some good dogs all week long. I'm sure we talked about some of that yesterday, but congratulations, Dusty, and congratulations to you too, Brian.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Alan.
All right, so there you go. There's our world champion, GG. But so for all the matchups and results, we have them posted round by round throughout the weekend of this World Championship. And folks can find that on our UKC website, actually on our Beagles forums, the easiest way to find them. Message boards there. They're all listed round by round, the matchups and the results. So, but before we wrap this up, also you had a hand in this. You served as the hunt director for this Beagle trial. It's only the second one you've ever been to, but really your job was really... Nothing you're not, you can't handle.
A couple return times and then doing some math. It was a little different. There's a lot more 5s and 15s and 20s than I'm used to. I'm used to mostly just 50 increments of 50, but hey, it was fun. All the judges made it a point to bring back the cards and didn't have really hardly any issue. I think maybe one question over the weekend.
Maybe, I think we had 2 over the whole weekend, but yeah.
And everything was real smooth. Everybody was really respectful. Didn't have any issues at all. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we enjoyed having you. But anyways, I want to also mention our partners and sponsors here before we make way here. But Eukanuba, our official performance dog nutrition partner of UKC, along with Dogtra, they're the official GPS collar partner of UKC. Then our sponsors, Nightlight Company, Mule Hunting Gear, Okie Dog Supply, Dogs Are Treed, and our newest sponsor, Dan's Hunting Gear. All sponsors here of the Beagle World Championship. Another big sponsor that they had locally there that I want to mention is Iron Synergy. That's a local coal mining company that supports and sponsors a lot of the local sports there in Greene County. And in this case, they sponsored all the food it was Mr. Dan Wagner and culinary arts students of Greene County Career Center that came out and did all the food. They did the dinner on Thursday night that we talked about for everybody. And then they served breakfast and lunches throughout the weekend each day at no charge to the hunters. And that was in part in full by Iron Synergy sponsored all that, paid for all that.
Yeah, huge congratulations. What first I think the awards were great. I don't have anything to base it off of, but if you got in the top 10, which is a big deal here, everybody got something nice. The show winners got something nice. And then talk about free food for the weekend for everybody that's still there. What an awesome thing to be able to give the folks who have earned the right to make it to the World Finals.
Yeah, and a lot of that, all that free food had everything to do with that coal mining company there. And it's good to see companies like that step up when they have a big event like this going on in their town like that. But here, just before, I'll also thank the Waynesburg Beagle Club. They were the host club there. Curtis Johnson, Pete Stone King, Jim Galantine, all their hard work and efforts prepping all those spots, keeping, they mow a lot of pads and things like that so you can score lines and things like that. And just another great job. And Randy Moore, man, he's called the office a lot all year long, kind of prepping for this. He was kind of their guy for working with United Kennel Club for this World Hunt. Good job, Randy. Awesome job. Outstanding.
Yeah, like you said, he called in a lot in the past couple of years, getting, letting stuff, staying in communication with you. And it was nice to be able to put a face with the name, and you're there at the event. And if you need something, he's going to get it. He's going to get someone to do it. He's always got his club members there ready to help, put up tables, chairs, help us carry stuff around. And it helps whenever the host club is doing things like that. He was
there when we got there. He was there when we left.
Absolutely.
So yep, that's Randy Moore. Thank you, Randy. And then another one I want to point out here, Braden Neely. I mentioned him. He helped judge that final cast, but he was our guide coordinator. First time I've really worked with him as far as a guide coordinator, but man, he did an outstanding job. Yeah. Never had to wait on him on anything. You know what it is? Communication with his guys. And he did all that. And his guys were committed to it, and it showed. Awesome job, Braden.
Yeah, sometimes at these major events, and it's hard to put a lot of dogs in the woods. And sometimes your guide coordinator may get, nervous. And I get nervous at major events putting a lot of dogs in the woods. And Braden stayed even kill. He never got worked up. And if you needed a guide, he went and got one. And it was simple as that.
And here again, a younger guy too. I love seeing some of the younger guys step up like Braden and taking charge and then doing a great job like he did. So that's all good stuff right there. And hey, we'd be remiss not to mention everybody that did help guide for him, and also the hunting judges. Like I said, we had one or two questions. I always say questions aren't always a bad thing, if that's what the procedures are. We do want to get it right, So, thank you to everybody. It was all in all, I don't know, for me, good weekend, good fun, just a good World Championship,
Absolutely.
So hey, we're going to wind on out of here for this episode, but finally just want to congratulate our world champions again, Mike Higby with his Angel Dog winning the World Show, and congratulations to Dusty Irwin and Brian Hartram with Gigi. Thanks for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss out on new episodes.